All right, I believe we are live. Hello, successful souls. I am so excited for today's podcast episode for multiple reasons. One being we are streaming live into the Spiritual Success Sorority Facebook group. But two, we have the first amazing podcast guest of the year and well, ever here on the show. So before we introduce today's podcast guest, what I do want to say is what you can expect from podcast guests that are going to be here on our show. One, they're going to exude spiritual success. So not just in business and in finance, but really in all areas of success. So what this means is that they are leaders in their family, in their businesses, and in their community. These are people who truly are making the mindset shifts, the spiritual shifts to align with their inner feminine beast, right? To break the barriers of success. So my guest today, we're starting off with a bang, okay? I'm really excited to have Kimberly here. Now, Kimberly Olson is a nationally renowned social media expert. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Sit back, this may take a few minutes, okay? She has 2 PhDs. She's a best-selling author. She's a top sales performer in her current network marketing company. She has a top 50 podcast on iTunes. She's the creator of the Goal Digger, which I can't get over that, the Goal Digger Girl, where she helps female entrepreneurs by teaching them simple systems and online strategies. But she's also the mama of 2 beautiful girls. So Kimberly, say hello to all the successful souls. And please let me know if I left anything out. If you'd like to elaborate on anything that you do, I definitely want to make sure that everyone is hearing about the amazing goodness.
Oh my gosh. Hello, successful souls. And thank you, Cynthia, for the introduction. I so appreciate it. I'm honored. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun.
It's fun to say successful souls, right?
It is. It's just like powerful.
Cool. Okay. So Kim, my listeners here on the podcast and in the Facebook group, they are very familiar with my life mantra. I say it all the time. It came to me in a really deep meditation. And what I love about it is that it literally can be applied to anything. Whether it's, getting over grieving, whether it is getting over an addiction, whether it is getting over a hard relationship or about a spiritual success journey. And that mantra is acknowledge it, embrace it, and see it through. So I'm really excited about hearing your spiritual success journey. And I really kind of want to start with the whole idea of acknowledging it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I feel like every successful person that I know, like we've been through some hardships.
Yes.
And we have to overcome some serious mindset shifts. And I'd love to hear, what kind of mindset shifts did you have to go through in order to become the woman and successful entrepreneur that you are now?
Yeah. So I've got into network marketing direct sales almost 4 years ago, and I was very resistant to it because of the stigma around it. And I was not interested in losing all my family and friends. So my friend, she kept following up. And she said, well, these products can really help the kids. And I'm like, help the kids. Like, that's my love language, So I thought, you know what? I have nothing to lose. At the time, we had racked up about almost 6 figures of debt. We had built our dream home, 2 brand new vehicles. We had our babies, they're a year and a half apart. So the second came real quickly, very quickly. And so we had 2 daycare, bills to pay for. And I had lost my job. I had this amazing, huge salary. And I was 8.5 months pregnant with my second and was let go. They eliminated the territory. And I mean, you can't exactly go get a new job when so that was the darkest period of my life because I'd always been the breadwinner. I'd always managed the finances. And I wouldn't be up at night because of postpartum. I was up at night wondering how we're going to pay the mortgage, and all those emotions of having these littles. It was very difficult. So I kind of went into, I've always struggled with anxiety and depression my whole life, but I went into a very dark space. I was drinking a lot more and I took a job locally just to make ends meet. And it was half my salary. I was commuting 2.5 hours a day. So I missed Elisa's first steps. I would FaceTime into doctor's appointments. There was a lot of mom shame around it. I was missing out on those key things. So 4 years ago in the spring of 2017, my friend was like, hey, this whole thing, I'm making all this money. And I was like, what have I got to lose? Right? This is not getting me anywhere. So I did pretty well to start out, but I kept self-sabotaging. So I would make a couple thousand and then I wouldn't work on my business and it would go down to a $200 paycheck. So I knew I could do it and it could maybe get me the freedom I wanted to quit my job, but I would just keep self-sabotaging and I was still struggling with alcohol. And what I was doing is when I had time to work on my business, I would just have a glass of wine, another glass of wine. And then who's going to want to work on a business at night when you are relaxed and, having some cocktails? So I would wake up every morning with guilt, shame. I would beat myself up so bad mentally. I mean, I literally would start the day in the hole, So my friend told me about my friend told me about this lady that was helping her. And this lady was a therapist, but she was a life coach, a Reiki healer. She did hypnotherapy. She'd encompassed all the modalities that she learned into her program. And my friend was like, because my friend's a lot like me. And she said, she's helping me. And I was like, all right. So she was a little different. And I was like, I don't know. And then I thought, no, this is what you need. You need someone to hold you accountable. You need someone to walk alongside you. And I think there was some resistance with my subconscious, but I went for it. I went all in. I did everything that she said. We would do FaceTime every week. We'd do hypnotherapy sessions. Every day I had to write and reframe my thoughts, all the stuff with reframing and subconscious beliefs. It took 6 weeks, but one day I woke up and I said, no more. It's the alcohol is holding me back. I'm an all or none person, And I talked to my husband about it and, I talked to her and I was like, okay. And I had tried other things, but it was because every morning I was writing in my journal, telling myself a new story. I woke up for the first day of my whole life. I woke up feeling positive. I woke up feeling like you can do this. I woke up just excited. And so that was 3.5 years ago. I haven't touched a drop of alcohol since. It's just not really a good alignment with me. But what happened was I started being able to hear divine downloads. I started hearing guided inspiration. Like, you should go live on Facebook. You should start a Facebook group. Like, maybe you could build your business in a different way. All these people are spamming cold messaging. You don't have to do that. Why don't you just build relationships with people? That's what you love to do. So I went against the grain. I mean, people were not teaching this stuff. And it took off like wildfire because people really wanted it, and even today I still get messages of, oh my gosh, what you're teaching is so different than what I've been told. And I love it. It feels so good. I hear that every day. And all about energy. Obviously that's what you teach. It feels so good because it's in alignment with who we are. So I went from, 6 figures of debt to, we just did $1.1 million this last year. And my goal is to donate $100,000 this year to be able to support 2,000 women in a micro financing program this year is my goal. So it's to be able to go, that's awesome and that's great, but what can I do to pay it forward and help a lot of people? So that's kind of brings me up to present day.
Now that's amazing because you and I have a lot of similar stories there. So for me, I used to work in the wine and spirits industry. So
I didn't know that.
I was a portfolio manager for the second largest supplier in the world.
Wow.
It was sexy. It was glamorous. I was managing teams. I was in Kentucky, then in Miami, then in New York, and I was going everywhere. And the reason I took this position was because I wanted to be a leader and I wanted to be an example of what a powerful woman can be for my babies.
Yes.
Well, what happens? When are people drinking? Nights, weekends, holidays.
Yep.
I didn't see my child at all. I missed everything. And all the glamour that I thought was there, I started seeing the darker side of that industry. Mm-hmm. The alcoholism. There was, things when people were intoxicated.
Yes.
Now, I'm an intro sommelier. I do love the art of alcohol. I always say cheers to your success. I enjoy the campaign on the weekends, but I think that there is balance and there's importance of knowing that. But I'm right with you. So it was when I really decided that I needed to be the mother and to be present that I started, finding spiritual success and hearing that inner feminine beast. Now, there is one thing I would like to say to my listeners, because one thing I love about Kimberly is she's a sales beast. Okay. You should know I come from the sales world. I love things about sales. A lot of times people think sales is spammy, scammy, sleazy. I like to change those S words and make it all about being spiritual and being sexy and being the success journey for people and really being the start of that. And so there is one thing I would like to say, though, it's because I've done all the sales there is to do. I've done the door knocking. I've done the real estate. I've done the phone sales. I've done social selling. That's actually how you and I met in my previous career, coaching on that. But the one thing I have not done is network marketing. And I just want to say, bow down to you.
It's
that
different.
Is great work and impressive skill. So I know when it comes to mindset shift too, that I would love for you to speak about perseverance, because I constantly am saying that consistency and repetition is the key to success. So how has consistency, perseverance really been part of the mindset shifts, or one that you had to obtain consistently, in your journey?
Yeah. And I talk to a lot of women. I have a 6-figure network marketing income and a 7-figure coaching business. So I work with a lot of women, and most of my audience is network marketers, direct sellers that maybe want to up their game there, learn how to build a team, or they have a team and they want to learn how to get organized in systems. And I always hear, oh man, stop, go. Like they'll get on social media and then they won't post for a while. And I'm so busy. Or, they'll post in their groups or go in their stories, and then they just fall off the radar. So what I did is in the fall of 2017, I didn't have an Instagram account. I had 250 friends on Facebook. I think we reach 1 million people a month now across all of social media. So I share that to inspire you, hopefully, depending on, your audience, that you can totally grow. You're a huge, obviously, proof of that, what you've created in a short period of time in this group. But I didn't have any following. I didn't have, people to draw from. So I told myself, I'm going to keep going until I figured this out. So I had no idea what I was doing. There wasn't a good, roadmap for me. And I just showed up every single day. I've never missed a day of posting since then. I go live every single week. If I'm traveling, I'll pre-record and stream it live. And I think I think it's subconscious, honestly, but there's this trust factor that you build up with people, because you know what they're thinking. I don't know if she's really going to be there. Like, is she really, I don't know if I can count on her. Can I trust her to be the one to coach me and guide me? And when you show up like that, you're building that, mentally for people. And I think also too, it's, showing up, obviously being authentic and genuine and who you are is obviously a really big piece of that. But the consistency, like you said, being persistent. I always say tenacity, grit, and perseverance are the attributes you can, and I wrote a book called The Art of Self-Discipline for this reason. You can develop these attributes. Like people will say, oh, I'm just not organized. You can develop organization. Trust me, I'm not naturally organized, but you have to say to yourself, how bad do I want this? Am I going to be bigger than these stories I've been telling myself? It's just a story. Honestly, is literally just a story you're telling yourself. So I would just say, if this is something you struggle with, hey, we're 6 days into 2021. So if you're like blank slate, here's my chance, then go ahead and absolutely say to yourself and claim it right now. I am committed to being consistent and persistent until I achieve my goals.
Yeah. And that's so true. So a lot of our listeners are entrepreneur women and executive women. And I always say, whether or not you're the CEO of your business, you are the CEO of your life. Mm-hmm. And how you get the things you want is honestly simply as just deciding to do it. Decide to do it. Yeah. I work next to 7 and 8 figure, entrepreneurs such as yourself. And the one impressive thing that I've noticed about very successful women is they make very quick decisions. It's because you go overcome being afraid, and then you just realize to embrace that voice. Like you said, I should do this, I should do that. And you learn to trust it. So one of the things that I think you mentioned that I just love, and I think our listeners need to hear is, a lot of the women who are in business are kind of drowning in masculine energy. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is not male energy, but masculine energy. It's a lot of the do. I have to do this. I have to do that. But we still feel this burning desire of wanting and needing more. And we feel that because we know it exists. Even though we can't see it right now, we know that it exists. But when we want to talk about it and we want to learn more about spirituality, sometimes we're not sure where to go to look at it. Because I remember when I first wanting to learn about spirituality, I would walk into a crystal shop and there would be a purple haired, tattoo anywhere, which is totally cool. Yep. But I'm not necessarily that same kind of person. And that's really why this whole community got started, was so that you can understand that spirituality and success go hand in hand. Masculine energy needs to have the feminine energy in order to really have that manifestation happen in business. So I'm really interested in what it was like for you when you said, okay, I'm interested in connecting with this person in spirituality, but it was nerve-wracking. But at the same time, how did you know that calling to start embracing spirituality and have a mentor in it? Again, you said it helped so much with, figuring out what you do. So I'm just curious, what was the aha moment that was I need spiritual guidance to get to this next level?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was raised Catholic, and, it was when I got into my early 20s, I was like, okay, this doesn't feel positive to me. And I'm very positive. I started exploring different things, and I really fell in love with non-denominational. So that was like all I had to work from. And I would, show up at church every week and I'd pray to God, like, please heal me from this struggle with alcohol. And it wasn't happening. So once I worked on reprogramming my subconscious mind, I realized by clearing away the destructive behaviors, I could hear what God wanted me to do. So I know it sounds so weird, but I don't have a business plan for this year. Like, I couldn't tell you anything. I don't even know how we're going to do $2.5 million. But I can tell you this, I am so obedient. I dropped an entire program we were supposed to launch. Like, I ditched it. I said, we're not launching this. It's not the time. And my whole team was like, okay. And then we just launched it, and it's going to be probably a multiple six-figure launch with a new program. So I shared that again, not to impress you, but impress upon you the power of getting tapped in. So now what I can do is I can have faith and trust and confidence that I'm taken care of. I don't have to make it happen and work a million hours. Like, I work less now than I did when I was working at a job, and I'm obviously making a lot more money. I sleep 8 hours, I work out, I go to yoga, I pick my children up from school. Like, why do we think that it has to be this rat race and we have to be working so hard and make it happen? And you know what, too? I really believe this. When we make it happen, we're kind of like stifling it. I don't feel like that's sustainable. I think that when we make it happen, it comes from scarcity. And I think if we can switch to abundance and say, I'm going to allow it to come in, this is what I want, what I'd like to call into my life, or something better. And sometimes it's like, holy smokes, that's way better than what I thought, right? But what happens is, and I'll give you an example, my word for this year is fire. And I do a lot of stuff with my brand with fire flames and get lit and all this. So the day I said, get lit, the day I said it, my word is fire for 2021. I go to get a massage. I swear, you can look on my wall, y'all, if you guys want to look on my personal profile. There's a shadow in the bathroom. It's a flame. Yeah. And there's this tiny little plant, and there's this huge flame of a shadow. And I'm like, okay, that's a sign from the universe, like, run with fire. Let's do this. So I just find it like the feel of it is so light and exciting, and there's joyful expectation around it versus that, like you said, that masculine kind of make it happen. And I think this is what I've learned a lot from you about lately is you can only get so far with that. You kind of cap yourself with that kind of energy.
Yeah. So, I came from the business world, and literally it is having meetings about meetings before having the big meeting about doing everything so that we can say, once it's all done, we gave it all. Mm-hmm. And I realized that was so good to learn. And I'm so happy that I learned all of that, because it taught me not only what to do, but what not to do. Mm-hmm. And I think when we listen to a lot of the coaches online, it's very, very aggressive. Like, you need to do, but it's literally going to get to the point where you're burning out, you're not enjoying it. And I wanted to have my listeners hear from you, because they hear from me enough. All the doing, but eventually it can be literally, she's going to have, I guarantee it, another multiple 7-figure a year, but she doesn't even know yet, because she's trusting in her feminine beast. She's allowing it to be intuitive. She's allowing it to pivot. And again, success is not just doing. It's trusting, knowing, and allowing yourself to hit a higher vibration where you're not just being based on predictability, but actually allowing possibility and potentiality to be part of your plan. I made a commitment this year. I'm having the universe be my partner in my business. I talk to the universe out loud every day as if they're my business partner. Aww. This is the trust. So whether you say universe, God, or source, it's just how you choose to label it. Mm-hmm. But literally having that, I know I'm going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And as my listeners know, I'm very happy to announce within the first 4 months of my business, we're 6 figures. We're just starting.
That's awesome.
But it's the mindset of the larger awareness and knowing that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So I just love having them hear from women who are crushing it and doing it, embracing this and overcoming things that are really freaking difficult, but at the same time, not having it define them. So that's the acknowledging it, that's embracing it, seeing the opportunity and trusting in God and source. But I'd love to talk about seeing it through as well. So Kimberly, please tell me, what does everybody have to look forward to coming from Kimberly? How can they contact you, follow you, and what exciting things you have going on?
Yeah, that's awesome. And one other thing too, and this goes with the seeing it through, is sometimes we hear this from you, and I'm sure they've heard you, like you said, lots of times. And then when you go to implement, you're like, okay, where's the hang up? Sometimes we're not trusting ourselves in our ability to manifest what we've called into what we want to see, and I think that this is why sometimes I think people don't invest in coaching program. I mean, I'll get you guys, I spent $60,000 last year on coaching. I'm a huge advocate of it. And obviously it's paid itself off forward. The ROI has been great, but when I talk to women and I'm talking to them about it, I think a lot of times they don't take that leap because they don't know if they don't trust themselves, and so part of seeing it through, I call it #GetLit, learn, implement, take action. The thing that I did, I like that. The thing that, make sure you take a screenshot of yourself listening to this podcast, or if you're live with us, watch the replay, throw it in your stories and tag me at the Gold Digger Girl. But when I got in there, what I did, and we were just laughing about Clubhouse before we got on the Zoom today, is I didn't know anything about it. I got on and then I made myself do a room, and I was nervous, but I was like, the longer I wait to do this, those little nervous feels are going to keep going. Right. So for seeing it through, it's taking imperfect action. You're failing forward. The net will always appear. I mean, who do you know who's taken a risk and didn't learn from it? Didn't say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I took that risk. Name one person who's like, man, I wish I wouldn't have taken that risk. No one, right? They always say, gosh, I learned so much, or because I took that risk, it led me to this. So I would say be action-oriented this year. Be action-oriented. Don't analyze it and don't sit there and think about it. Go for it. Fail forward, because every time you do that, you're going to be making progress, and you're going to be living, and you're going to be so proud of yourself, and your subconscious mind's going to be like, oh my gosh, she's doing it. And that's where the magic really happens.
It's so funny. I can see the comments on Facebook. I see some of my clients are here. Hi, Jessica. Hello, Katie. And they hear me saying this all the time. And again, we can all say it our own way, but I love the fact that, prime example, it's no coincidence that she and I don't rehearse anything. We didn't say what these questions are going to be today. He's telling you exactly the same message that I say over and over. There's a reason that you hit certain levels of success. And my number one thing is what I always tell my clients: get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Label that feeling as something that's so nerve-wracking and scary. Start labeling it. Again, be the decision maker, be the visionary, be the shot caller of your life, the CEO of your life, and decide that that's not scary, that that's exciting. And every single time that you feel the buzzing, that is the sign that you're supposed to be doing it. So I went on Clubhouse today for the first time ever.
Yay!
Just like you. How is it possible that I'm nervous?
Right.
I'm so used to being on camera. This is my comfort zone. This is what I love to do. You're trying something new. You're hearing it from two powerful women, but they were still like, you know what? I'm feeling, but we did it right away. We did it. Embrace the nervousness. Start looking at it as exciting, and just do it, because you're never going to try it and be like, damn, I'm really upset at myself. It's always rewarding. So I think it's wonderful that you're saying that too. But yeah, definitely. What do you have in the works?
Yes.
Going on?
Well, you can find me in Clubhouse. Cynthia and I will be hanging out over there. So you guys can follow me online anywhere at the Gold Digger Girl. On Clubhouse, it's just Gold Digger Girl. My name's Kimberly Olson. And if you go to my business page on Facebook, the Gold Digger Girl, I go live every single Monday at 1:00 Central, and I'm teaching you social media, sales. I'm teaching you mindset. I work that in a little bit. Sometimes it's tactical, like how to make your story sizzle. And sometimes it's going to be more strategy of, how to attract qualified leads to you, and why people might be ghosting you or getting crickets, that kind of thing. So that'd be a great place. And then obviously Instagram, like I said, I'll give you all a shout out if you put this in your stories and tag me at the Gold Digger Girl. And it's GOAL. I make my own money, right? Gold Digger.
Yeah. So also too, if you end up joining her Facebook group, definitely I'm sure she has an entry question or whatnot. This is how did you hear of her? Let her know that you came from Cynthia.
Yes.
Just see who's going over there myself. Let her kind of relay that to me. And again, Clubhouse. She and I, we're going to, as soon as this is done, we're going to talk a ton. I can't wait to inform my listeners. I'll probably be popping in here later today to tell you about when I'm going to be hosting a room in there. I'm telling you, my tingly senses, my intuition.
Same.
This is the future. When I say, and then all of a sudden, again, social media guru expert here is like, oh yeah, that's where we're going to be hanging out. So ladies, if you haven't gotten a membership yet, definitely go and apply for it. Get on the waiting list. We're going to start putting some time in there. And what I love about it is not only am I me reading your comments, it's a lot different. I'll actually be hearing from you. So I'm sure you can probably look forward to some future things happening here, but I will definitely be on there. So I look forward to that. One little reminder for my listeners as well. If you are here watching this live in the Facebook group in a few days, or if you're listening to today's podcast, it's already pre-recorded. January 11th is the Mastering Meditation for Success workshop happening inside the Spiritual Success Sorority. Come on in, get welcomed right away by a member of my team, and we'll get you started and kicked off. So Kimberly, you're amazing.
You're amazing too.
We joke around, but we could talk all day.
Yes.
It's a good start. And thank you for being the first guest.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, exactly. Ladies, I think you're amazing. I think you're wonderful. So much to look forward to. And in the meantime, I'd love for you to acknowledge it, embrace it, see it grow.